Welcome to PhD&D on YouTube and another edition of Moving Forth, where we try to make 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons just a little bit better and run just a little bit smoother with everything. Today we're going to talk about breaking a couple of standby rules in order to make your game better. This should be done rarely and it should be done with tact. Now I'm going to use the example of hit points to start out. In 4th edition, a lot of monsters have way too many hit points, and battles can take a long time. That is fine under certain circumstances, but it is not fine when a character tries to pull off something extremely skillful and does so, only resulting in a number of hit points dropping off and the battle continuing as before. So unless you are using permanent effects, let's say one of your player characters attacks a giant monster and does some insane damage on a very cool move that used a lot of imagination. Once again, unless it kills the monster, they don't get that same satisfaction out of it. You can use small things like maybe they do cut off a limb, maybe they permanently disable it from using a weapon, maybe they blind it permanently. That stuff is all fine and dandy, but under certain circumstances, these heroes should outright kill a monster well before the hit point reaches 0. So we'll talk about an example here from one of my campaigns. I'll give the brief example of what I let happen. These young PCs were fighting a young dragon. That gets into my whole thing about dragons, and I don't like young dragons. Well, I ran this a long time ago, so that's how it went. They're fighting a young dragon. This thing had a lot of hit points. It would have taken them a while to kill it. In the first round of combat, they were able to set it up. They had the dragon somewhat distracted, and the rogue, who's got a great imagination, pulled off one of the greatest feats I've ever seen. He took out a dagger, and what he did was he threw this dagger as a minor action through some combination of his feats and skills and whatnot. He threw it, aiming for the eyeball of the dragon. He charged in immediately after it and was hoping to hit the eyeball, reeling this dragon back, exposing the underside of his neck, and he was going to be right there when it raised, drive the sword in and attempt to kill this thing one hit. Player rolls, nat 20. What are you going to do as a GM? You're going to let it happen as it should. I could have had him deal maximum damage. He would not have even bloodied this thing. But that is a move that should end a dragon fairly quickly. He hit with the dagger on the throw. He was right there underneath it, shoved the sword in straight up underneath the mouth of the dragon, killed it, one shot. Dragon falls over dead. It was one of the greatest memories they have in any of the campaigns. So that should teach you a lesson of sometimes you have to break those rules like the hit points in order to make the game a little more fun. Nat 20s are especially the time to do that. If this character used a ton of imagination, had a great description on it, the role playing is fantastic, and they roll a nat 20, reward them somehow or another. That is your tip for this week. Break the rules when you need to. You don't always have to follow the hit point numbers. Reward your players. Thanks for watching.